Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Mizrahi Badira. We've been talking about Israel a lot and all the different places there are to see. We talked about the Yam HaMelech, where people float in the water, in Eilat, where it's really hot on the beaches, and you could look on a glass bottom boat and look at all the things in the water and the fish and the plants. In Yerushalayim, the Kotel, and Tel Aviv, another beach, and all the things to eat and taste, and all the sounds to hear. There's beautiful music playing in cars and buses. And we spoke also about how the only way to get there is really to fly on an airplane. I wanted to read you a book all about our friend Sammy the Spider, who traveled to Israel by accident, though. So we're going to read his book right now. Hold on. Here it is. It's called Sammy Spider's First Trip to Israel. The person who writes the book is called an author, and that person's name is Sylvia A. Rouse, and the person who draws the picture is called an illustrator, and that person's name is Catherine Janice Kahn. Sammy Spider's First Trip to Israel. It's a book about the five senses. The five senses are the way we see, smell, touch, hear, and taste. Zip. A curious Sammy Spider peered down from his web as Josh Shapiro closed his suitcase. "Mother," asked Sammy, "what is Josh doing?" "He's packing for his family trip to Israel," answered Mrs. Spider. "Will we go too?" asked Sammy. Silly little Sammy. Spiders don't fly to Israel. Spiders spin webs. Sammy wasn't listening. He watched Mr. Shapiro give Josh a toy airplane. "Thanks," exclaimed Josh. "Is this the model of the El Al airplane that is flying us to Israel?" "Yes," nodded Mr. Shapiro. "Now get your suitcase, Josh. We're leaving for the airport." Sammy lowered himself on a strand of webbing to get a closer look at the little airplane. He had just crawled inside the window above the wing when Josh picked up the airplane and dashed to the waiting taxi. "Oh no!" cried Mrs. Spider as Josh ran out of the door carrying the plane with Sammy inside. She was not sure what to do. Keeping Sammy from exploring was as hopeless as keeping the sun from rising each morning, and she knew he wouldn't be traveling alone. From inside the little plane, Sammy watched the big plane take off and fly high above the clouds into the blue sky. He felt scared, but he couldn't help feeling a little excited too. Hours later, the plane landed at Ben Gurion Airport. A taxi took the Shapiros to their Tel Aviv hotel. "Shalom," said the taxi driver as they got in. "That's the Hebrew word for hello," said Josh's dad. After they unpacked, the Shapiros decided to take a walk along the beach. Josh put on his swimsuit and grabbed the little plane. "Shalom," said the lifeguard. "Shalom," said Josh. Sammy smelled fresh sea air mingled with the aromas of the sidewalk cafes and fruit stands. "I wish my mother were here to enjoy the smells of Israel," he thought. That evening, the family strolled along Dizengoff Street. Josh had the little plane tucked under his arm. "Shalom," said a sidewalk musician who was playing Israeli music on his guitar. Sammy loved the sounds of the busy street. People speaking Hebrew, car horns honking, and tourists bargaining with shopkeepers. "I wish my mother could hear the sounds of Israel," thought Sammy. The next morning, the Shapiros boarded a bus for Yerushalayim. "Shalom," said the bus driver. The bus stopped for lunch at a kibbutz. "Many families lived here together and farmed the land," Mr. Shapiro told Josh as they gathered in the dining hall. The Shapiros ate falafel, hummus with pita, olives, and pickles. For dessert, they ate halava. Sammy was hungry too. When everyone finished eating, he darted out of the little plane and sampled the leftovers that had dropped to the floor. The pickles tasted sour, the olives salty, and the hummus and falafel were spicy. Best of all was the sweet halava. Back inside the little plane, Sammy thought, "I wish my mother were here to enjoy the tastes of Israel." After lunch, Josh picked up his little plane and headed for the kibbutz farm. A cow grazing with her calf and a hen chuckling to her chicks reminded Sammy how much he missed his mother. "Silly little Sammy," he could hear her say. "Have fun. I'll see you soon." When the group reboarded the bus, the kibbutz families waved goodbye and shouted, "Shalom." Shalom also means goodbye, Mrs. Shapiro told Josh. The bus climbed up the hilly road to Jerusalem, to Yerushalayim. As they rounded a curve, the afternoon sun glistened off the stone buildings. "We're here," announced the bus driver. "Wow, it looks like a golden city," Sammy exclaimed to himself. "If only my mother could see Israel too." The bus reached the old city. The Shapiros got off and walked the narrow alleyways to the Jewish quarter. "The Western Wall, the Kotel, is all that is left of the Holy Temple in Yerushalayim," the guide explained. "Shalom," said the young soldier at the checkpoint. "Shalom," Josh replied. Josh and his father walked toward the wall. Sammy saw people praying or davening. Others were tucking little notes between the huge stone blocks. "They have written special wishes and prayers," Mr. Shapiro told Josh. Sammy crawled out of the little plane onto the wall. The huge stones felt hard and rugged, yet in the cracks between them, Sammy noticed little plants were growing. "It's just like the land of Israel," thought Sammy, "hard and rugged, yet a special home to all the Jews. I wish my mother were here to touch and feel Israel." He wanted to tuck his own wish or prayer in the wall, but he knew what his mother would say. "Silly little Sammy. Spiders don't write prayers. Spiders spin webs." And that's exactly what he did. The days passed quickly. The Shapiros traveled all over Israel, and Sammy went along snug and safe in Josh's little plane. They rode camels in the Negev desert, and Sammy felt the soft wool of the animals. They snorkeled off the beaches of Eilat, and Sammy saw colorful fish. They stopped at a date farm in the Galilee, and Sammy tasted the sweet fruit. They floated in the Dead Sea, or the Yam HaMelech, and Sammy smelled the salty water. Look, there's somebody floating. I think there's a crab next to him. On Shabbat, when they went to shul, where Sammy heard everyone wish each other Shabbat Shalom. Shalom also means peace, Mrs. Shapiro told Josh. "May we all have a peaceful Shabbat." Finally, it was time to fly home. Sammy was eager to see his mother and share his adventures. When the Shapiros arrived at the house, Josh ran inside and put the little airplane on the couch. Sammy crawled out and shouted, "Mother, I'm home!" Mrs. Spider scrambled down to embrace Sammy. Embrace means to give him a hug. "I'm so glad you're back. I missed you so much," she said. "I missed you too," replied Sammy. "I wish you had been there to smell the sea air of Tel Aviv, hear Israeli music, taste the delicious falafel, and see the golden city of Jerusalem, and touch the Kotel wall." "And I have a new word to teach you. Shalom is a special Hebrew word which means hello, goodbye, and peace." Sammy rubbed his eyes and yawned. Mrs. Spider gently carried sleepy Sammy back to their web. As she tucked him in, she whispered softly, "Shalom, little Sammy. Hello. Welcome back. And sleep peacefully." The end. Well, that's the end of that story. And it's kind of almost like the way we traveled all through Israel. Sammy did the same thing. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, everybody. Bye-bye.